Hi, I'm not wearing any pants, and this is Chilling in the Matrix. I wanted to talk about something that everybody knows, but I think about it maybe a little bit extra. Just the phrase, right? It's a Bible quote, but it's also just a phrase. The meek shall inherit the earth. I wanted to say what this means to me because a lot of people will consider themselves as the meek because they want to inherit the earth. You know, so it's like a lot of dirt bags, justify their existence. Well, hey, you guys are going to play all your games until it all burns down. And then me and all my dirtbag friends, we're going to inherit the earth. Actually, I wish I did a little bit of research before this video because I kind of want to talk to the artificial intelligence about it so I can kind of understand it better. I'll just say what I think it means to me. It's not going to be a long video because it's not that complicated. But what it means to me is like, so you've got like white people and we're going extinct because the effing small hat club convinced us that we should be ashamed of our own existence, and we're ceasing to exist because, oh God, we were so dumb about it. The people that let the small hat, the liberals, just, oh my God, the liberals, because they're just so easily manipulated. They only cared about their little programs, their little social programs, so that they can get their welfare checks and their food stamps and whatever else, their healthcare, which they don't even have healthcare, but whatever they wanted. They wanted all their dumb little fucking concessions, and they just gave up what our major asset was, who we were, our people, our white skin, our fucking Anglo-Saxon ancestry. When the Latins found the Anglo-Saxons, sure, we were living in the bushes, right? We were fucking dirty and uncivilized. But as it turned out, we had a capacity for adaptation that was unparalleled, and we had an imagination that was unparalleled. And so yeah, the Latins found us, and the Latins made us into what we are, but the Anglo-Saxons went above and beyond with it, right? And then the effing small hat club came along and said, diversity is your strength, not our strength. Their strength is something else. But they want us to believe diversity is our strength. Which, fair enough. Actually, you know what? Who am I to disagree? Because in my situation, diversity is my strength, and without diversity I would have no strength. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, The meek shall inherit the earth. I'm burying the lead here, all right? So I'm not going to bury the lead anymore. It's, in my mind, who are the meek? From my perspective, it's my wife, the Filipina, and my babies, the half Filipinos, and my wife's parents, the Filipinos, who they were, born into this impoverished nation, a melting pot at the end of the world that's been kicked around and abused and degraded and mistreated by the Indians, the Muslims, the Spanish, the Americans, and now by their own people. They've never been treated good. They've only been treated bad. And then you have me over here on this side of the world where I've had nothing but advantages, and I've been coddled and placated, and you know, the world was my oyster, and it's, you know, Mother Earth spread her legs and gave me whatever I wanted. But things got weird, you know, they just, there's no other way to say it, it just got weird because of, you know, trillions of dollars of small hat propaganda made things really unnatural and bizarre, you know. But then we come back to this theme of the meek shall inherit the earth. So you've got these people over here in this melting pot at the end of the earth. Think about what the Philippines is, all right, dude? You've got all these people in Asia, Indians, freaking Muslims, Pacific Islanders, you know, freaking people from Madagascar who needed someplace to go. You know, Chinese who needed someplace to go. Fucking all these Southeast Asian people that just continue to need someplace to go. Enough and enough and enough. And they all end up in the Philippines. And they become the Filipinos. These were the meek of that entire area of the earth. Were just funneled into this archipelago that was basically like, you know, a human trash can. Just the dregs of society from, you know, 2 continents, right? Well, I mean, Madagascar's in Africa. I guess it's all Asia. Asia's freaking huge, right? But anyways, it's a lot of people from a lot of places, and they all went into that melting pot. And things didn't go well. They had nothing but problems. And they overpopulated, so they're all crammed into those islands, just zillions of them shoved into those little islands. So when you go there, you look around, there's just more and more everywhere you look. There's more and more Filipinos. And that's the way it is. And they've had a bad time. Everybody knows that things are not great in the Philippines. They know a lot about suffering. They know a lot about hunger. And they know a lot about being mistreated and downtrodden. For no good reason, too. You know, because it doesn't need to be like that. But that's the whole... We're living in hell and calling it heaven or whatever. But when I say the meek shall inherit the earth, when Jesus said the meek shall inherit the earth, what else could he have meant but that the lowest of the low could, through the bloodlines, emerge at the precipice of civilization, you know? I don't really have a point about this. I guess the meek shall inherit the earth can mean different things to different people, but to me, it's obvious what it means. It's just how we're all becoming yellow. My little baby girls, they look white, but they're yellow, beige, mother of pearl, off-white, whatever. And it's just interesting. I think I don't really have a point. I just kind of wanted to share this topic because it's just interesting that, it's so true. The meek shall inherit the earth. What, I know it personally, like with my little Filipino babies. What better example of the meek inheriting the earth could you possibly have? Could you imagine that, like my wife's mother is a very impressive woman who's had an incredible life, and in my opinion, she comes from a kind of a different world, right? And she came from a different world, a jungle at the end of the earth that might as well have been another planet. And now her little babies, her grandbabies, they're at the forefront of humanity. They kind of just, it's strange. They just jumped from the back of the line to the front of the line. And if that's not the meaning behind the meek shall inherit the earth, then I don't know what is. I don't think they're talking about the junkies. They're not inheriting anything. I don't know. I guess that's it. All done. Deuces. Autofocus. Come on, focus. This camera can focus. This camera can do a focus. You can do it. You can do a focus. Nope, I don't think so. Who knows? Who cares?